Welcome to Derek Does. Today, we're gonna do these. Hi, welcome back to Derek Does. I'm Derek. Thanks for joining me. If you're new here, please subscribe. And I think you're gonna like today's episode because today, I don't think I've done this before. I'm gonna be talking about probably the most famous footwear in the world. And that has to be the Chuck Taylor high top and low top All-Star from Converse. Now, what I have here, I don't have any, unfortunately, real vintage ones to show you. Every time I find a vintage pair, they go pretty quick when I put them up for sale, unless they're my size, which I've never found my size. But I was going to show you, I just got this pair. This is from Converse, and this is their 70s version. These are shoes that are it's like a throwback retro shoe, I guess they would say. And these, of course, are their modern, just a low top. Basically, they're very, very similar shoe, but you can see there are differences between them because here they're trying to recreate that 70s Converse, and here is just the modern one from last year. The thing about Converse is it's been around for forever, basically. In 1917 is when they made the very first pair of Chuck Taylor All-Star high-top shoes. And it was Chuck Taylor was a famous basketball, and he was actually the very first athlete to put his name on a pair of shoes. And these shoes, these basketball high-top shoes that they came up in 1917, were basically the basketball shoes all the way up until probably like the mid 60s, or even, I think 68 was the last year that a professional basketball player actually wore them. So they've been around forever. They were in the Olympics from like 36 and above. Converse made shoes very similar to this for the military during World War II, Korea, all the way up. And the crazy thing that I discovered when I was researching these a little bit is they didn't make colored shoes for the Converse until 1971. So you just had your choice of white or black. But they made the colors for collegiate, so they could get the colors of their school on their feet for their teams, which was a great idea. Now, unfortunately, Converse, it's a canvas shoe, and I'll show you close-ups of this. It's a canvas shoe, and it was, again, the main shoe for basketball players all the way up until the mid 60s. And then basketball players started to use leather shoes, and then, of course, a different type of sole, harder sole on that instead of the softer rubber stuff. And eventually, they don't even sell this anymore for basketball players. You never see anybody wearing them professionally. And the company actually went bankrupt in the year 2000 and then was purchased by Nike in 2003. And so Nike, so if you ever get a pair of new Converse, they're basically from Nike. The originals were all made in the USA, and those are the ones you want to look for. And I'll show you where to look for that with these pictures. You can see they're easy to find if you find one. That's what I'm saying. They're not easy to find. They used to be easy to find. I used to actually go to thrift stores and stuff and would always find the USA Converse, and I would find old versions like this with the black heel logo. You can find those, and those were the old ones up until early 70s. They kind of phased that out, and they went with the white All-Star logos on that. So things to look for if you're looking for Converse. Keep in mind that they haven't changed really visually. So if you find a pair, it could be from last year or it could be from 50 years ago. There's things to look for. The main thing is when you look on the inside, you can see the Converse logo, and it'll say Converse, and then underneath it says Made in the USA. Other ones that they won't actually say Made in the USA. In the 80s, they would be made in Vietnam, I think, and it would actually say Vietnam, and then they would put like these, I've seen them, there's like this tape over top of it, and it'll be like, I think made in Korea maybe, or South Korea, and then they're made in Indonesia now, and China, and Vietnam again. So I think they may have came out with a USA made one for like a very limited edition. I think the main reason it's cheaper to make them overseas, but also the process of putting these rubber bottoms on the canvas is actually not a very safe thing to be working around. I guess the fumes and that sort of thing is kind of dangerous. And through regulation and everything, it was just cheaper to go to places that didn't have the regulation. So that's why you see it made there. So let's take a look. I'll show you some close-ups of what a Converse is. I'm sure you've all seen these. You may not have owned a pair. They're not that comfortable. I'll say that. Any sort of these canvas shoes with the bottoms like this, they're not that comfortable. They're lightweight and they're easy to put on, and they're comfortable in that aspect. But if you're walking like long distances, these aren't the shoes you want to be wearing. It's just me. And it's the same with PF Flyers, which is a very similar brand. They're comfortable, and if you get the right insoles in, if you add an insole, that makes a huge difference. But if you just use their main little tiny little piece of foam that's in there, it's not that great. So let me put these on the chair, and you can take a look close up of this, and you can kind of see. Maybe you're interested. If you want a retro pair, definitely take a look at these Converse 70s. I think they call it 70s version, because basically they're trying to emulate up till when they were really great, up till the early 70s. So this is what this pair is, and see if this is something you might be interested in. All right, so here is that pair I had in my hand. This is the 70s version of the Converse All-Star Chuck Taylor high tops, which they put on there. This is black. This is your classic black with the white. You can order these in any color. You can get different colors. You can customize them. You can do all sorts of stuff with these now. But in the heyday, they were usually a black shoe with a white. The early ones would have that kind of that. It's almost like this wood type of rubber, but this is the white one. That it also could get it in a white Converse that fades really fantastic. Also with that. So on the 70s pair, this is the reproduction 70s pair. You can see the rubber is a little bit taller, and the piping around here is a little thicker and a little more on the toe. And the main giveaways, of course, is the black and also dark navy. I've seen dark navy too. I've seen of the Converse All-Star Chuck Taylor bottom heel logo. And of course, all Chuck Taylors have the Chuck Taylor here. This one's really thick. It's a real thick vinyl, or whatever that is, on that. It's just a canvas shoe with the rubber there, with the eyelets, and then on the inside, they always put a little Chuck Taylor with the player's name that you can write your name on there. These, I think, were made in Vietnam, so they're not USA made. And on the inside, they actually put Chuck Taylor there. But normally it would just say Converse, and on the bottom it would say made in the USA if they're vintage. Now these, you can see that they're actually say 70. They have a little 70 there, so that's what that is. And it had a tag, like a probably UPC symbol down there too, but these don't have those on here. And the other shoe does not have the player's name on it. It's just on the right shoe. I've also seen coach versions too. And it's made for the coach of the basketball team. And I know there's other companies that made, everyone copied these shoes, and they even had a huge lawsuit against everybody that was kind of copying their shoes. But this is the Chuck Taylor, and these are the bottoms, which really have not changed at all over 100 years almost. And you can see these are from the first. These are size 9, but usually they always give the size on the bottom. They're unisex shoes, so it's like a 9 men's and like an 11 woman. So if you're a 9 or an 11, depending on your gender, these shoes will be available, because they're too small for me, because I wear like an 11 in Chuck Taylors. I like them because they fit my foot, because I have a thinner foot, I guess. I don't have a wide foot. But the thing is, they do, and I discovered this because my son has wide feet. I got him a pair of, I'll show you those, a pair of these, Chuck Taylor. These are called those are the high tops, these are the low tops. As you can see, it's just missing the top there. These are actually in wide, so you can order these in wide. Of course, these aren't the 70s version, these are just the normal, and you can see it just says Converse, but normally it would say made in the USA if it's made in the USA. And of course the back, it just has the modern one, but it still has the exact same sole pattern that the other ones did. But they don't put the size on the new ones like they did back in the day. So that's something to think about when you're looking for these. So you will have to look into here and try to read the tag to see what size it is. But these are the low tops, and of course you saw the high tops. It's basically the same shoe, but let's put one of each up, and you can kind of see the difference between the modern Chuck Taylor and the other one. So you can see this is just beefier. I mean, that's just obviously beefier. Everything's beefier on the 70s version than the other one. The piping here on the stitching is, it just seems thicker. And the actual shoe itself, the canvas feels a little thicker. I think they use maybe something a little, this has a very soft on the inside. This is just canvas. So this is like I don't know what kind of material that is, but it's not a heavy canvas, it's a softer canvas. And of course on the back you can see this would be what the older ones looks like, and this is the new one. And again you can see it's just taller. See that? So that's the main difference if you're going to be buying the vintage style or the modern style. Visually, no one would know, from 3 feet away. But when you get closer, you can see the difference. But those are the Chuck Taylors. Now, I also picked up, and this is just if anyone's interested, they make some fun 70s Chuck Taylors also. This is a pair, same, this is the 70s version, just like the black, only this is in a, I don't know, is it purpley? It's like a purpley leather. And then it has this, I don't know, it's kind of a 70s mod design there. Still has the black just like the other one, and inside it still has the Chuck Taylor, and you can put your player number there, and on the inside is still Converse. Although this one doesn't say the 70s on it, but I'm pretty positive these were the 70 version. But you can see there they didn't actually put that 70s. Maybe they only do it on the classic because the black or the white is the classic, and these are more special shoes. I don't know. Anyway, these are the same size. They're from the same guy who donated them. Very little wear. I'm going to put these both up on my eBay, and I'll put a description link for these to purchase if you're interested, if you're a size 9 or 11 in women's. So just kind of a short video on the Chuck Taylor All-Star from Converse. Again, these were the 70s version. I remember I used to pick them up. I used to find them a lot back in the day. And when I say back in the day, I'm talking about, from 2000 up. You can still find them. And there was one I used to find that was really fun. It was a Christmas version. And they made it, I don't know, I guess they made it in the 80s maybe. And it was like this Christmas plaid and then had little bells on the back. At first I thought someone had just done it themselves, and I picked them up, and I started finding a couple of these a couple of times. And then I was able to find out that these were actually a Christmas edition. The shoes came in all different colors after the 70s, and each one, it's kind of like a Nike. It's like the Jordan Nike, the first generation, where I think they had like 17 versions of that with different colors, not just the black and white or black and red one. They had metallic ones, and they had all sorts of different colors. The same thing with Chucks. Chucks used to be cheap. You could pick up a pair of Chuck Taylors for $30. But now I think these are running like $100. So they're not the cheap canvas shoes they used to be. When I was a kid and you had canvas shoes, you didn't have cool shoes. You couldn't afford cool shoes. You wore canvas shoes because that's what I had. I didn't even have Chuck Taylors. I had some off-brand from some off-department store. That's the shoes I had. But they were canvas, and it's like I was always jealous of the kids with the new Nikes and things like that. But today these are considered cool, and everyone who is cool has a pair. So if you're interested, definitely look into these. There's something to, if you're going to order them, sizings is all over the place sometimes on these. So if you're going to order them directly, like from Converse or someplace like that, order a couple in the pair. So like if you're a size 10, order a 9, if you can. Order like a 9.5, a 10, and a 10.5, because that way at least it will give you in the ballpark. And then try them on and see which one. And then they always have a free return. So then return the ones that don't fit you, as opposed to ordering the 9.5 and you find they're just too tight, so you return them and you got to wait all that time till you get the 10s. And that's a trick I do, especially if they have free returns and you're not quite positive on the size, unless you can go to a store and try them on. That's the best way. But if you have to order them catalog wise or the internet, then just order a couple sizes, in the range that you fit, and see which ones fit the best for you. Because if you read reviews, some people say they fit big, some people fit small, some are saying it's right on, but everybody's foot's different. So that's a little trick from Derek Does. If you're going to be buying anything like that, shirts, coats, shoes, particularly, because I'm all over the place with shoes, and you probably are too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little trick. But if you enjoy this, subscribe. Check out my other stuff. I do also did one on the PF Flyers that I like. But the Converse are really popular too. Again, the most popular shoe, I would say, like most recognizable shoe. Everyone knows what a Converse is. And actually probably the Jordans, they probably know what those are too. But hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next Derek Does. Thanks for watching.